YouTubers
know what
coming
to
at
do,
you, Guardian Mike, and you just got to get in. My thing is to get these three people together here. Want to come at you talking about abandoned children. Is it a reality? Abandoned kids in the world, in Asia, in the Philippines. I'm going to ask our panelists here, Mr. Van Ong, Jeff, and not Jeff, Dr. Sam, and Ian. And then the second thing is about food. Are there people eating garbage? So those are tough. These are going to be adult topics, so I want to talk about some really hard realities. Just talk about what you witnessed and what you know. Dr. Sam, can you lead off the panel discussion?
Yes.
Are there abandoned kids?
There is abandoned kids, and there are abandoned kids in the cities, and they're out on the streets, and they live in very poor conditions, and they beg for money. There are abandoned kids in the villages, in that the parents aren't available. Maybe the family, maybe some of distant family is kind of supervising them, but they don't really have a home they would call their own, and so they're just barely subsiding. These others also have a personal experience, but I can tell you, having been in those villages for the last 15 years in the Philippines, I've seen a lot of kids who don't have anyone who's actually responsible for them. And so they're abandoned in the sense that they don't have anyone that watches over and takes care and makes sure their needs are met.
You ever see them just show up at a medical mission?
Yes, they'll show up in the medical mission and they'll come before you and you ask them, but they don't have a parent, they don't have anybody you can get questions about, and it's so hard to know how to treat them and take care of whatever need there is, especially if they don't speak English, which most abandoned kids do not. They only speak their tribal language, and so getting information can be very, very difficult.
All right, we're going to come down to Mr. Ian here, and we've got Setmore beside her. Question is, are there abandoned kids in the Philippines in your experience, Ian?
Yes, we see them a lot, especially on the road. They're begging for money and for food. And for me, I've seen them a lot, and there were also some organizations are helping on them and providing their needs, but still, they are still going back to the roads and begging for money.
Valid. They are not connected with a family as we know it, parents. They are abandoned.
Yes.
And what are the reasons why people get abandoned?
Well, some of the family are striving for the living, and they just leave their children alone, and and the parents can find a living that they can live every day, that they can buy rice and they can buy viand for everyday life. And it's hard for them to do that, but they should do it because of these circumstances that they have experienced in their lives.
So sometimes the family can, if there's only one parent, maybe go from the southern part of the Philippines, go to Manila to work and die there, and they're never heard from. There's nobody calls them back up and says, I'm so sad your dad died. They're just gone.
Yes.
Seppi, you want to weigh in? Are there abandoned kids in the Philippines, children?
Yes.
It's been your experience.
Yes, it's been my experience.
Pardon me?
Yes, it's been my experience.
Okay, and that's for real. It's not make-believe.
It's for real.
And some of the causes, I'd like to come back to think about the causes. I caught you off balance here. She's the female of the panel. Mr. Van Ong, Nurse Van Ong, are there abandoned kids in the Philippines?
Yes, I'll give you two examples. We were eating at McDonald's in Manila, and all of a sudden, these 4 kids, with one riding in the back of one older kid, was begging for my food. Okay, I
food
asked,
off your table.
Yes, and I was because McDonald's is so cheap in comparison to your dollar here, so I bought them some meals. The other experience, I asked them where's their parents. They said they're gone. Okay, they're just roaming in the streets. They were sleeping behind McDonald's on a cardboard boxes, and it's good there's no winter in the Philippines. If there's winter in the Philippines, these kids will be dead. The other experience I have was we were traveling to Southern Davao going to Digos, and we were stopped by for gas at the gas station, and here the same thing, 10 kids running around begging for food on the people that are getting gasoline. So I asked them again, where are your parents? These are they just roam around the whole day looking for their food that they can survive. So we treated them for meals. And the third example that I have are kids that are swimming. There's a restaurant in Batangas near the ocean, and these are kids that are swimming for food in next to the restaurant. They cannot get into the restaurant because of their attire, but they're in the in the sea next to the restaurant swimming, waiting for these customers to throw their leftovers. So what happened was I ordered food, I put them and wrapped them in a plastic bag so there's no water coming in, and I announced it to them. This is good for about 20 kids that we order, and there they grab and they were eating on the rocks there. And there's a lot of abandoned kids in the Philippines. I don't know what's the, I know it's political on the Catholic Church, but as far as I know, since contraception is against the Catholic religion, but in the same token, which one do you want? To have these kids born without any food, without any parents, or that's still a political issue. So
Okay.
there's a lot of abandoned kids in the Philippines.
Have you seen them eating garbage?
Yes.
Okay, and how do you were talking about off camera? They boil the garbage. What's that all about?
There's a new thing now for when they get this extra food from restaurants, because most restaurants, when after office hours, they throw all the leftovers. So what happened is they're there for several days in that garbage, depending on what days the garbage being taken out. They boil this, and for business, they will separate all the meat and boil them and sell them for $5, 5 pesos per meal.
5 pesos per meal.
Per meal.
That's a second-hand meal made from the scraps.
From the scraps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's clean because it's been boiled a little bit.
Yes.
It's reused. But Dr. Sam, do kids actually eat garbage there?
Yes, they actually will go into your garbage can or sacks and open them, and they'll filter through and pull out things that they can eat, and then run off generally down the street until they consume it. And that's something that you see, especially when you're driving around in different areas, and you actually see this in action.
You've witnessed this yourself.
I have witnessed it myself.
Ian, as a point of our panel, just what you've witnessed, kids eating garbage?
Yes, they do.
This is a difficult topic.
Yeah.
We're in America. They do eat garbage. Do they clean it? Do they boil it? I mean, what do you...
Well, if they saw that it still can be eaten, they will eat it.
Right then and there.
Right then. But they see it's kind of need to, do something. They'll get it and pick it up.
Seppi, this is a tough topic, and you're in another part of the Philippines, but you've moved around a little bit.
Yes.
What's your witness about kids eating garbage?
They eat it.
You've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. They don't really recook it because they don't have homes, so they just pick up whatever they can find and then they eat it.
And they don't have homes, and oftentimes mom has run away or died, or dad has run away or died.
Oftentimes in the city where I live, the parents just abandon them, or they find a different person to live with, and so when they have their own kid, they just abandon the ones that they have from the first person that they were living
Just
with.
leave them for a new
Yeah.
hookup, a new relationship.
Yes, that's right. And I've seen siblings, they were eating dirt, no food at all, and then it was terrible.
Small child?
Yes, and actually one child died from malnourishment and from disease that the kid got from eating dirt. It's bad. I mean,
And you taught there. You tried to teach the poor,
yes.
and you're out in. You were there during what you talked about, seeing people die during the normative times, not during a hurricane.
Not
extreme.
during.
That's even worse.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to you. Thanks. And that's very tough. We're going to end on that. And thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. That's a very somber note. And